oh baby, baby is here. Baby is here right now. I'm on the phone with her midwife. My wife has been going through contractions for 2 hours. It's looking like it's getting pretty serious. This is my first live birth I'm going to attend. And so we talked to our midwife and she says, let's meet at the birthing center in 30 minutes. And as soon as she says that, I hear my wife saying, oh no, baby's here. So she's standing at the sink in our bathroom. Our 2-year-old is sleeping in the next room. And I get down, look between her legs, and sure enough, I see my son crowning. I go, Tracy, baby is here now. She goes, Jaymin, listen to me. You reach in there and you grab that baby. In that moment, I take everything. I realize how alone I am. I command everything around me to come into this frequency where everything is possible. And I say with my deepest, clearest, most decisive voice, baby, push. She's in her birth pool. The only thing she can hear is my voice. And she just takes one massive push. And sure enough, out pops a slimy purple head. It is the first time that I see my son. But we're not there yet. Baby, push again. We're doing this. She gives it one big push, and then whoop, just like a fish, out pops my son. And I have one thought in my head. Dude, don't drop the baby. I catch this baby, I bring him around, and unfortunately, though, he's not breathing. I've been watching a lot of hospital movies where everything happens. In this case, it was real life. Tracy, he's only called phone. He's not breathing. So Jaymin, you need to wipe out his mouth. Find something to wipe out his mouth. We were so prepared. Our birthing bag was in the car downstairs, ready to go. All I have is my pajama t-shirt, and I go in and I make the swipe. When I make the swipe, thank gosh, he goes and starts taking his first glass, and he just created everything he possible. I want to invite you into the possibility that all of us can tap into this frequency where everything feels possible. And it's not just for emergencies. It's not just for birthing your own son in an emergency situation at home with your wife. It's also for when you are connecting with someone that you're falling in love with, but feel vulnerable to share. It's also that moment where you have a disconnect with those people you love. It's also when you're putting yourself out into the world, when you're speaking from stage, when you're crafting an offer, when you're running a business. My name is Jaymin Patel, and I grew up in Chicago, Illinois. And there's two things I really love: making money and making love. All right? And I grew up, it's true, you all know it's true. Those who know me. And so I grew up in a very traditional household where I learned that people-pleasing and overachieving were my ways of navigating safety, trust, connection, and belonging. And so, like many of us, I went on this path of overachievement and people-pleasing. I graduated high school a year early. I got a full ride scholarship to university where my room and my housing and everything was taken care of. In fact, I got a check back every semester to go study there. I studied engineering and got enrolled into a Fortune 500 company in a leadership development role where at the age of 22, I was managing people 2 and 3 times my age. I then left that behind to go get my MBA at one of the top schools in the world. While I was there, I picked up a secondary master's in public policy management. Why not? One more degree. I went to go work for one of the top 4 management consulting firms. And by the age of 24, I became one of the top 5% of earners in the United States, ages 25.
Damn.
And what I realized is that through this journey, something's not quite clicking. And I'm sure you recognize that feeling. We talk about it a lot today. And it was this moment that sounds a little bit typical, but it happened when I went to Burnington. It's one of those places. I went to Burning Man, this festival out in Nevada, and I showed up and I realized I could be my full self. Everything that I brought was accepted, and I felt that my whole life I'd been pulled back, and I went ding, and I went into a place for those 10 days that I realized in my soul I could never not have again. This led me on my path to then eventually leaving my company, not knowing where to go, trying to figure out what would be next. And at that moment, I realized I could keep looking forward and become partner of this consulting firm and make millions, or I can look back and see all the people who wanted to just get to where I was and help them. And so I took that time to write and publish my first book. And from there, I went on to become a writer and author of 8 published books, a speaker who's traveled around the world, speaking over 30 countries on stages like Harvard Business School, the London School of Economics, and a variety of Fortune 500 companies and startup organizations. I made millions on stage speaking and just sharing my essence in the very way that I am right now, and consulted for national governments, studied curriculum for major universities. It's been a wild, wild run. And today, as a coach and as a speaker, I have a business that really lets me scale my life. Because all of this time that I've been making all of this money, I've invested over $500,000, that's $500,000 of investment into getting coached, into finding individuals where I feel the resonance and I say, you, how can I work with you? How can I make your transmission? And so over a 12-year journey, I feel so held, so inspired by people who have given their essence to me in the form of possibility that's allowed me to now create a life and have a business that makes me all the money I need to live my life. It's not a business that I want to scale. It's a business that lets me scale my life. Because while I take a few calls and take a few stages every month, the rest of my time is doing the number one thing that has been so clear. It's the number one thing in my life, and that is to be a dad. That moment of birthday, my son made it so clear that this is what I'm meant to be doing. And during that time, I also just get to be with my family, my wife, my children. We travel the world together. We're about to take off a 6-month speaking tour where we travel all together. We can fund this lifestyle, and I'm not on a Zoom call all the time. I'm with them. And when I'm not with them, and I'm traveling solo, I'm traveling around to sex festivals and castles in Europe and teaching people how to have more profound intimacy, because I also love making love. This is the kind of balance that we want to create. In this journey to create the lifestyle that to me feels beyond the possibility that anyone could imagine, it gives me moments where I squeal like, oh my gosh, even this universe, here's what I've learned. I've learned that there is a formula to living a life that is fully lived. And I call this the fully lived method. And through my journey of investing in all of these coaches from mainstream, Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza, to the weird ones here in Bali that you never heard of, right? To everything in the middle, plant medicine, ayahuasca, everything all together, that the wisdom is there, but it's just been disbanded into little local parts. And some people who follow breathwork, they know they're getting some of the healing, but not quite the full thing there, right? They're doing shadow work, they're getting the same experience. We find these modalities that lead us somewhere, but it's not always there. Who's had this feeling that there's still this one piece of healing that's elusive that it can't quite get to? Yeah, I think we all share this. And what I found is that actually all those pieces through the discovery that I've had actually have to become put together. And when I put them together, my engineering brain began to see the structure of how they can be sequenced, pieces that were missing, and I fit all these in. And for the last 4 years, I did teaching this in a program that I called the Fully Lived program. And out of all the programs that I run, it is the only one that has 100% success rate for everyone he was doing. They shift their lives. They stop choosing B when they really want A. They go for what they really want, and they live a life where they can actually know that everything is possible. So here's how you can get started. You want to know how to tap into the fully lived frequency where everything is possible? Yes? Okay. I want to give you a very simple formula that you can use to see how fully lived your life is right now. And then we get to have knobs that you can adjust to make it even more fully lived and beautiful. Sound good? Okay, the formula is very simple. You take the moments in your day that you're in the fully lived frequency, where everything feels possible. You're feeling elated, connected, inspired. And you subtract those moments when you're in a regular human frequency, where there's numbness, depression, overwhelm, things that I still feel. We cannot escape that. My life's not perfect, but it has the tools to understand when it's happening, build the awareness to know what to do, to take a practice. I say everything in our lives comes down to two things: pattern or practice. If you're experiencing the same results over and over in your life, you're in a pattern. And guess what? For that, I have a practice that will help you shift that. When you subtract the moments that you're in a fully lived frequency, and you subtract from that the moments that you're in this regular human frequency of living this beautiful emotional life that we get to live, this equals the level of how fully lived your life is. It's as simple as that. And what I dedicate my life to is to help people, business owners especially, who are out there sharing their essence to the world, to get out of the overwhelm, the numbness, the disconnect, the anxiety, the depression that is a natural part of what we'll always face as we continue to grow, and bring them back more into that fully lit frequency. This is why I wrote a call every single week for people to just tap into this frequency for a few $100 a month, and they get to not have it be gatekept behind a 30K package or all this stuff. This is something that everybody needs. This is something that I feel that everybody needs to bring into their life so they can continue to ship. And when you do that every week, one after another, your entire life trajectory just starts doing that. And you get to a place where at the end of your life, you don't live with any regrets. Of course, there are some we can't come back to. You can begin to shift your life into a new way. So here's my wish for you and for the world. But it's simply that just as I was so honored and grateful to receive these human beings who are out there at the edge of either writing a book, running a business, being embodied, being a dancer, whatever it was, I saw them at the edge and I was inspired by the permission that they gave me. I truly feel that we're all here through our actions and our inactions, creating a ripple effect of permission and possibility in the world. And what I want to see is more humans who are living in this fully lit frequency. So their very being, the very essence is so shining and bright that it creates a ripple effect for others to find that possibility for themselves. I have 2 young children who I'm raising into this world, right? And I want them to live in a world where people are more attuned to this frequency, more open, more connected, more loving, more grounded, more peaceful, more present than a world where we go in this other direction. And so my wish for you is that we become part of this ripple effect where you can experience the permission and the possibility where you live your life in this fully lived frequency. And you can show for yourself and to everyone around you that truly everything is possible.